गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। We look at the global governance initiative which China has audaciously put out yesterday in the SCO meet. You know, it's very insidious and it's completely out of the hat. It's completely out of syllabus. One didn't expect it. And when I saw this, yesterday, this particular tweet, till then I was, saying, okay, this whole summit is going one way. Then I saw this where it says Chinese President Xi Jinping on Monday proposed the Global Governance Initiative. And I said, well, look, there's something. So that's where the complete Chinese agenda for this SCO meet has been actually thrown open. And it puts into place how they're dealing with India, how they're dealing with Russia, and how they're dealing everywhere. Right? And now they're following it up with some thoughts and all that. There's a concept paper which has come out. Uh, there's a new narrative, and we have to be aware of it. Okay, and this is not something which is out of step. It's in continuation of a previous thought process. Even this, he says, uh, right. He says, I look forward to working with all countries for a more just and equitable global governance system and advancing towards a community with a shared future for humanity. Xi Jinping. Shared destiny, common mankind, yeah, all that. Destiny, common destiny for mankind. All those stories which they stopped talking off late, came out of the hat yesterday towards the end of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit. It was very interesting. Uh, then I started piecing things together, and well, you have a master plan in action. Well, it's a Chinese master plan. Whether it will succeed or not, one doesn't know. But they've timed it well. They've timed it at a time, and we'll talk about it toward a little later. When a lot of things are in motion, and they made use of this. Okay, it doesn't matter whether China is strong or weak at this point of time. The Chinese perceive this as an opportunity, and they'll not miss this opportunity. Okay, that's the point. And they should, what does this tweet? Every tweet of from Global Times or any Chinese media has one little thing. You have to put all these tweets together and you'll come one. The real meaning comes out. This says it should seek common ground while putting differences aside. And of course, this is basically at India, Pakistan, that kind of a thing. Azerbaijan, Armenia, all this. So they want to be the global arbiter of the whole thing. Of course, that won't happen. That's a different thing. But the subtext of each of their stories comes clear. Look, let's see why this has come about. I keep saying, this has come about. It doesn't come about on its own. There's one realization that these four gentlemen are going to run the world, and that I've been speaking of for quite some time. And suddenly, I think the whole thing has started with Mr. Trump and his transactional approach, his tariff war. If his tariff war had been only against, say, Russia or against China, it might have worked. But he's taken on everyone. What does he want? I mean, one doesn't know. Is he cutting with USA? I mean, is he cutting with India? Is he cutting with China? Or is he what with Trump? What so China sees an opportunity and he sees, okay, here it is, my main rival who can really challenge is India. And Trump is completely against India. He's hit completely. The competition for Trump is from Russia and China. But his ally in this whole game was, or partner, strategic partner, was India. And he's hit India with tariffs. and he's neutralized India altogether. Okay. Russia, for whatever you say, doesn't have that kind of heft. Its economy is not so great. And he's stuck in a war. That war is not going to finish in a hurry. EU is in a mess. The rest of the countries don't have a voice. Trump has created problems at three levels. One level is the international level, where he's treated his allies, partners, everyone in the same, you know, plane. At the second level, his governance is completely ori. It's personalized and he's got a set of his cabinet, which is completely subservient to him. They don't even talk. They don't have the guts to talk. Also, okay, they don't. They're just like parrots. And they're like absolute parrots. They don't know anything. In the first Trump administration, at least people stood up to him, whether it was Bolton or McMaster or anyone, Pompeo. They had something up here. These guys, I don't know whether they have or not, but they just Trump. This thing. I mean, if you saw the last cabinet conference of Trump, which was televised, everyone says, "Oh, you're the great man." And anyway, that's how it is. So that's the second level. And the third level is creating chaos within America. Prices are going up. People are not happy. He's picked up fights with his own states. For the first time, he's deploying National Guard in the country. So he has created a huge vacuum. And with that, the Europeans are also in chaos. They don't know what to do. They are also in a war. Russia is in a war. If you see this, India is marginalized. So suddenly, India is, vacillating what to do. We didn't have to go to, the SCO summit at all. Someone else could have gone. So Xi Jinping makes use of this opportunity. Too good. And this opportunity of global governance, if it is even partially implemented, goes to revival of China. It goes to revival of China politically. Once the political revival takes place, the economic revival will follow. Remember, I always keep saying, in China, everything is political. Right? So, the way I look at it, Trump has handed the plate to Xi Jinping, and he's taking use of it, and out comes a global governance initiative. But you take the trajectory. The BRI came in 2013. Okay, then followed by the GSI, Global Security Initiative, 2022. GDI came in 2021. I've mixed it. 23 comes GCI, and then 25 comes GGI. Actually, once the global civilization initiative came, after that things by then 23 2 years back, China was in dumps. No one bothered about it. Now suddenly after 2 years, he sees an opportunity, it comes back. Okay, so the BRI was the base with which they went on to 60-70 countries. Or in fact up to I think 120 countries. A lot of debt trapping, influence. They garnered influence and everything, and then they said, this is the development model. So they came out of the development initiative in 2021. This is the way everyone should function. Yeah, this is it. What I put here in text. Okay, it's The BRI was supposed to be major country diplomacy, where China was to assume a greater leadership role. It started then that we'll be part of the global governance system in some manner, greater leadership in global affairs, so that as it rises and its status increases, it will assume responsibility. Then this business of GSI, it is indivisible security. Your security, my security are not divisible. Fundamentally, I will lay the security architecture as a competitor to the UN. So you listen to me. Since I have BRI in your country, that security is my headache. So if it is my headache, I'll place troops there. If I place my troops there, my security, your security is also mine. That kind of a thing. Basic. Of course, GDI was to tackle challenges, promote COVID, post-COVID recovery, and all that nonsense. It didn't work. Then they came to that thing, they thought it was working, well, it was not working. Then they came to the thing, Civilization Institute, or other Civilization Initiative, so that you can, seek progress for humanity and harmony for the entire world. That was a watchword based on civilizational values. Whose civilizational values? Chinese. Everything had Chinese characteristics. All this was towards that Sinocentric world order. Now they have come out with the new one. Very, 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 the world has given Chinese an opportunity. Why will they not take it? And yesterday, I thought, okay, that was by, I thought I'd seen wrong. When I went to the People's Daily, it's there. Xi Jinping proposes global initiative headlines, and that initiative, and it's got 5 principles. I'll talk of it. Then I went and saw Xinhua, same thing. So we are now faced with a piquant situation where this is going to come in. And mind you, the SCO has got about 26 countries. And all these 26 countries are beholden to China except India. Even India, to a large extent, we are stuck with Chinese because of our adverse trade balance, which our Nikamma governments, wherever they're at state or center, did nothing about. They didn't do anything to wean us off the Chinese. I mean, look, whether it's the government at the state or the center, whichever, what have they done to ensure that the trade balance, gets reduced? They've not been able to get manufacturing. They've not been able to, get people to invest. It's good to talk all that. We've done a lot of things, but where criticism is due, we should give it. I'm very clear about it. We have failed. As a country, as a government, we have failed in this. We can keep justifying. No. But anyway, be that as it may, I do hope things will change. I don't know. But they put out these principles. What are these principles? What did he say? What did Xi Jinping say for this? I look forward to working with all countries for a more just and equitable global governance system and advancing towards a community with a shared future for humanity. The shared future for humanity is all dicey. That means I'll be at the top, you will be at the bottom. What are the 5 principles? Adhere to sovereign equality. But in practice, has that been done? Sovereign equality is only for others. Others are all equal. I'm more than equal. China is always at the top. Abide by international rule of law. Has China abided by international rule of law? Ever? They've repudiated treaties that Hong Kong, they went into a treaty with Britain and they tore it up. Hong Kong was supposed to be on that one country, two system thing till 2050. In 2000, they signed on this. It's a treaty. It's an international treaty. And now they said, like hell, they've usurped Hong Kong completely. There's no, that's a completely government. It's like another province of China. That's it. They should practice multilateralism. Do you, anyone goes to China, do they even have a concept of multilateralism? People centric approach. Which people are they talking of? Wherever China goes and sets up its BRI, they get people from there. They don't take local people. Ask Pakistanis, ask Gwadar. In Gwadar, people are not allowed to go into the naval area. No local people are used. Everywhere. This is not new. And taking real actions. What real actions? All actions are meant to be real only if they suit Chinese purposes. Otherwise, no. So this is the initiative. And he has said all countries, regardless of size, strength, wealth, are equal participants, decision makers, and beneficiaries in global governance. There should be no double standards. House of rules of a few countries must not be imposed on others. And Xi said that SCO must step up to play a leading role and set an example in carrying out this GGI and remain a force for stability in this world. Very interesting. There are two platforms for all this Sinocentric world order, which Xi Jinping and company want to impose on all of us. The first is now very clearly SCO. The second is BRICS. In BRICS, he has a problem because neither Brazil nor India will go with him. But in this, he's got no problem because all 26 nations which are part of the SCO are beholden to him. I said so. 25 nations will listen to him. In fact, 24 nations will listen to him. Only Russia and China, Russia and India won't. India, he's got a problem, and he's tackling India separately here in this for that. But Russia, though he has a problem with Russia, he's got Russia's tail. If Russia has to survive the Ukraine war, he has to do this. Okay, so all this is part of that story. Okay, all this is part of that story. Now, this fool, Greg D, the guy is so misinformed, he's testing himself so hard to make China appear as evil. I guess he wants to be hugged up with USA. As I don't want to be hugged by USA, I don't want this thing. I'm very clear about what I'm talking. Obviously, this fellow is from one of those Sinophiles, buffoons. Okay. Right. That was yesterday. Today, articles are coming out. There's a concept paper also, which has come out. Of course, what comes out in Global Times will come out in Xinhua, it'll come out in People's Daily, it'll come out. It's being magnified. You go search for this global governance initiative and talk of their concept papers. It's all there for you to read. And countries will take it up. Why? Because America has created that vacuum. As foolish as it is. Okay, there's a concept paper. Right. Now, I went through one editorial on this, the Global Times editorial. I'll just go through it. Domestic and foreign scholars have hailed the GGI because it addresses emerging global governance deficits. It calls for a fairer system, includes the voice of Global South, and interestingly contributes Chinese solutions and wisdom to reform the global governance. So it's going to be Chinese driven. Let's be very clear. There's one chap called Wang Dong. He is the director of the Institute for Global Cooperation and Understanding at Peking University. So what does he say? So they've started giving out, their academics are coming out, they're going to write papers, this is going to be presented, all this. This is only the spearhead. Only 24 hours have passed. GCI is significant as it contains theoretical innovation, specifies its approach and practice, and expected to have a profound international influence. There he cited programs and projects, okay, which have been specified by Chinese leaders so that the fruits of SCO proceedings are given to everyone else. And then they say the global governance has been dominated by Western countries, which has a lot of deficits. Okay, and the global South has been excluded. So this new program being given out by China will address all this. It will reshape global governance and have a profound influence internationally. It will usher in a Sino-centric world order. Okay, so he says this is all an extension of the previous four initiatives. Then this chap called Wan Yu Ming, director of Institute of Developing Countries at China, in the China Institute of International Studies. So this is a people-centric approach as per him. And that's the subject. The centrality of this whole thing is people-centric approach and development, and it can resolve the global South issues. There's one guy from Kyrgyzstan they've got hold of. He says, when the global economy faces deep recession, many countries see crisis in sustainable development and the international order and the world governance principles are facing challenges. So hence, global governance. So all this, will be sorted out by China. It doesn't talk of what China's internal problems are, which is in a mess. But when they get hold of this global governance, they give out ideas. Then they'll make people behave the way they want, and it'll start reviving their economy. Okay, it is something like this, very simple. Most of our politicians, before they win an elections, they're all bikaris. They'll go in, fatawa, kurta, without chappals, all that. Once they win an election or become a minister or something, then all his buildings, everything will come up. Why? He makes laws. He ensures everyone adheres to that law and he skins the surface. That's the same thing, everyone, any politician, anywhere. I'm sure it's in China also. Same thing these chaps are doing. If they can put the global governance system as per their choice, they'll become rich overnight. That's what's the thing with USA also, isn't it? What is USA manufacturing? They put things in place because they have the dollar as the reserve currency. Their economy can't fail, because if their economy fails, our economy fails. You're caught. He sees an opportunity where he can supplant all that. Or at least these 50, 60 countries. Now 24 countries of SCO, plus now BRICS he will entice. And people have started endorsing him. So this whole story will start. And he sees that, America is in a state of dysfunctionality. Then there's thing called Chinese wisdom is being touted. They got hold of the president of the Institute of International Strategic Studies in Peking University. He says there are a lot of thorny issues, right? Traditional security, Russia-Ukraine conflict, and Middle East, all these problems are there in the world. Then there are non-traditional security issues like climate change and all that which have come up. And then the US has withdrawn from international agreements, and it is now the source of problems, which it is. Trump has created that. Where there nothing, after all, Trump has torn up 25%, 25 years of hard work for the strategic partnership. So all these are now the cornerstones where Chinese wisdom will come and sort out. Look at the last thing. The newly proposed GGI, Global Governance Initiative, represents a further extension of previous three global initiatives. In fact, the GDI, GSI, and GCI all touched upon global upon governance related issues to varying degrees. Compared to the previous efforts, GGI is more systematic in nature. Its five principles focus on addressing how to aspects and methodical issues, making it highly relevant to the real world needs. So here it is. So now they now slowly started fleshing it out. It's only 24 hours since it's been unveiled. You will get all these wisdoms out, Chinese wisdoms. And this is well thought of. See, please understand, this has been well thought of. Okay? Then, of course, China supports the SCO in expanding cooperation with other multilateral institutions such as UN, ASEAN, Eurasian Economic Union, Conference on Interaction, EAO, all that. So SCO will become the focal point for GGI. It will be expanded with BRICS. And then they'll start saying they'll establish, after all, SCO has got a headquarter already. And now they're going to flesh it out. That plan also has come out. What did Xi say? In this, he says he expected cooperation to be enhanced in areas such as energy, infrastructure, green industry, digital economy, science and tech innovation, and artificial intelligence. So he expects everyone to cooperate with China. And he will lay the rules for all these. That's what is implicit. And then he wants to establish SCO Development Bank. There's the Asian Bank, that's okay. There's the Asian Development Bank, that's a different story. Then they're talking of a BRICS story. That is all this thing. Now SCO, they dominate. The development bank, they will fund, they'll do. Okay. Then he said China will give 2 billion yuan to states as grant, which is actually a loan. Okay. So that all these loans will be taken over by that bank. That bank will be funded by China. So through the bank, like IMF, they need, China is ultimately looking at an alternative to IMF, which is China backed. And then they want to give 100 small and beautiful livelihood projects as a adjunct to the BRI. And then training opportunities. So training opportunities means people will come from abroad and get trained in China. So all the story is going on. It started. It's a plan which is being unrolled. This is it. You already have so many people. They'll expand this dialogue partners. They'll expand, observers and all that. They'll not expand the original 10 now because then China will lose control of it. India and US, Russia can be marginalized at this point of time. Lo and behold, immediately within no time, yesterday itself, within 2 hours of the global governance initiative being announced, Iran says, I'm for it. So that same logic, China, Russia, Iran, all these countries will have to sign on to this initiative. So far, Russia has not. We, of course, the way we will come to India. Okay. Then this is the one which has come out now. Analysis of this is coming out in South China Morning Post in a sophisticated manner. Right? Now, that global governance has so far not come out in South China Morning Post. It will come after 3 days. Now they're talking, the international orders of bullying, and then we'll talk of a bank, now a Eurasian bank or whatever that is, a development bank, SEO. So the structure of the GGI is being thrown at us through South China Morning Post internationally. The GGI and what that means and how that is going to operate, that concept paper is going internally through Chinese Mandarin things. Diffused. It's a plan, very clear plan. We should be clear. And then, they are saying a 10-year multipolar world. Multipolar world of SCO. So the multipolar world, what it will be for the next 10 years will be defined. So that's why I said the core concept, the core ideas, everything is going through Mandarin, People's Daily, Xinhua, Internal, Global Times, through that. The sophisticated signaling is going through South China Morning Post. Plan. Now, here comes the interesting part. Why should everyone listen to China and govern China? It all is linked to the day after tomorrow, when not tomorrow, second, no, tomorrow, when there's this military parade which will take place. The Great Military Parade. What is this Great Military Parade all about? To commemorate the Second World War 80th anniversary or whatever it is. Well, see the tweet in this. What does he say? The Tiananmen Square and Chang'an Avenue in Beijing are ready to host the grand ceremony on September 3rd to commemorate 80th anniversary of the victory in the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. The Second World War is anti-Japanese aggression and People's War, Chinese People's War. What is the true thing? Because people don't know now, 80 years gone. Yeah. What is this great war all about? Second World War. The Chinese Communist Party didn't participate in it. It was the nationalists. Those chaps are there who are in Kuomintang, who are in Taiwan. That doesn't come. So, there's a narrative of China having saved the world then in this part of the area. Okay. Of course, this is something else. Okay. Same thing. China called for joint efforts to resolutely safeguard the fruits of World War II victory. Only China achieved that victory. The role of USA is not there in Second World War. The role of Russia is not there. Only China. That's a story being given to everyone. And why this great PLA did it. So the victory parade tomorrow. So apart from the global governance initiative which has been put in through the SCO, the Danda will be shown tomorrow. The military might say, you don't step in line, I have my military to sort you out. That's going to be shown tomorrow. Okay. All these people are talking. As the main battlefield in the Eastern theater of World War II, Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression made major contributions to the victory of the World Anti-Fascist War. Here, what is this war? I don't know. Who fought it? China. Right. Then they say now, this new narrative, but the contribution was downplayed for long by the West because of the Cold War and Western centrism. In the past decade, some Western scholars have adopted a global historical perspective in their works to re-examine World War II, which allows for a more balanced assessment of China's contribution to the victory of the world anti-fascist war. So that means what? People have been paid to write stories of how China, contributed to this war in a great manner. And they now start disputing history. So they're making history. They're showing that to say that, look, China was always involved in global governance. Now we'll take it to the next level. Not these confusing Americans, not these idiotic Indians. So this is all, stitched. If you see it as only one package, you're wrong. The package started yesterday. The megaphone is being blown today, tomorrow. It will be shown tomorrow in the military parade, and then it will be taken forward. It's only the start. This is the grand entrance. Okay. Then they say China's role in the main Eastern theater was decisive, not only in military terms, but in shaping the trajectory of the world history. I've not read one book by anyone which highlights what China did in the Second World War, but they are now projecting it as such. Its endurance and sacrifice tied down the majority of Japanese forces, contributed directly to the defeat of fascism. These are the stories coming out, marking a turning point in China's modern history, restoring national dignity and re-establishing China as a central force in international affairs. So they know this global initiative has come out. There's a history that China has saved the world. And we have a strong military, and you have international people talking of it. The whole story. This is not about SEO meet and all this. Now, after this, I come to realize there's a problem for them. I will come to that. The problem is this India and how they're dealing with it. We need to understand this. They know that India has a lot of history in Second World War. After all, the complete Burma campaign was in India. It was not in China. And those who really understand Second World War had three theaters. Okay. The first theater was the European theater. The second was the Russian theater. And the third was the Burma campaign. Of course, before that, the North African campaign. And the Burma campaign was the one which actually defeated the Japanese. This is not what I say. This is what the Britishers say. You read that book, Defeat into Victory. Field Marshal Slim. That actually was the turning point. But now, no. These guys are coming out with something. They know that India will never accept that story. So India has to be dealt separately in this global governing system. It can't happen in SCO meet and things like that. There has to be a political outreach. Because the problems with India are too many. And India has got a lot of weight of its own today. So India has to be dealt with separately. And India has made it very clear we will not be part of that parade. And before that, we went to Japan. So that signaling to China is very clear. So what does China do? They send Saichi, who's part of the Politburo Standing Committee, to talk with our Prime Minister. And is this isolated? No. I've said in my previous podcast, already the Chinese Communist Party has reached out to the BJP. So there is a political talk going on, how to resolve this whole problem of India and China. Because ultimately the problem India-China border has to be resolved politically. But the subtext of how it is happening is here. They can't run the global governance system and they have problems with India. So they've actually, if you see in this SCO, they've handled India separately completely. Look, our people will talk quite a bit, but the way I look at it, we are being singled out and being treated separately. And the complete effort will be to keep us separate. They will see how to cap India-Russia friendship. They will try and ensure that we don't go back to USA. How that will be feasible, we'll see how it comes out. Of course, USA is eminently helping them in this whole story. I don't know if there's any chap who from USA who's seeing this, but he should start scratching his head. What is he doing? What is USA doing? Look at this. Trump should be given a Nobel Prize to get this picture on the left into focus. That's what someone has written. Trump should be given a Nobel Prize just to make this photo happen. He's not only made this photo happen, he's ensured that this global governance initiative comes out and it's got a fair chance of success because he's pulling out of global governance. He's pulled USA out of global governance. And of course, the second one is an Instagram post. He says Trump should get a Nobel Prize for making China more powerful than ever. So, this is the thing which I wanted to put across today, this global governance. Okay. I mean, one should understand and what India has done. What America has done. India was the economic alternative to China, and Trump has ended that. By ending that, in Huntington's terms, India was supposed to be a swing power. 25 years it took USA to get the swing power on their side, and Trump single-handedly destroyed that. I mean, it will not go to China. That's out of question. I mean, that we can keep discussing. India, China has got too many problems for any progress to happen through trade. Some marginal trade will be there, which is tactical in nature. But USA has lost it. You see the signaling even now. There are so many US commentators who have said, "What are you doing? India was supposed to be your friend." Now, after this, yesterday, these two things come out as tweets. On one side, the Secretary of State Marco Rubio says, "The enduring friendship between our two peoples is the bedrock of our cooperation and propels us forward as we realize the tremendous potential of our economic relationship." Where is the economic relationship? This fellow says this, and today, and simultaneously, Trump puts a tweet out. Very few people understand that we do very little business with India. It has been a totally one-sided disaster. India buys most of its oil and military products from Russia, very little from the US. This is what the messaging from USA is. At some level, someone is trying to salvage this situation, and Trump is absolutely ready to, torpedo it. Now you're not made headway with Russia. You're pushing India away, and you're not making headway with China either. So what happens? China is gathering strength. As simple as that. And the ultimate thing is what? The ultimate thing is GGI. And this is the previous NSA, Sullivan. What does he say? Jake Sullivan. Trump has thrown the relationship with India away. Germany or Japan will look at India and say that could be us tomorrow. This is a thing which everyone must be saying. Yeah, if this Donald Trump could do to India, tomorrow also he can do the same to us. If he does that to Japan and Germany and France or Brazil also is done. They'll all swing towards China. Is there any alternative for the world? Forget about big countries. Maybe they'll sustain. What about smaller countries? America's friends will think whether they can rely on us in any way. Definitely, we don't rely on them anymore. So, what Trump has done is absolutely horrific. And this is again nice cartoon from Global Times. The Quad, he's beast the Quad. The Chinese were most worried about the Quad. Today they show this. Okay, initially when the court started, they were saying who pafu and all that. A couple of exercises like Malabar and all that, then they start saying it called it an Asian NATO. Now they'll come out. They have come out with this great thing called as beached. Now, all the it's when you turn a wheel, you need two hands, isn't it? Both hands have to go opposite directions. So China has one hand which is pulling global governance in one hand direction, and USA is turning it in the other direction. And the spokes which are driving is India, Russia, and all these. All some of them will go towards China, not because they want China, because USA is not responding, right? So I think we are in for interesting times. I thought I'll put all these across. It might be at this point of time what I've spoken to be quite disjointed. I am aware of it. Maybe it's out of context. I'm aware of that. But let's see. Personally, I don't think this entire business of global governance initiative will go anywhere. Neither do I think this trade with China will go anywhere because the fundamentals are wrong between the two. There will be some increment, something. Okay. I don't think Xi Jinping or Mr. Modi have that kind of political capital to cross a threshold. That's how I look at it. But let's see where it goes. Because at this point of time, a lot of things are moving. There are too many moving parts. Right? That's all I've had to say today. We'll meet in the evening again and we'll talk of the Tianjin outcomes with Dr. Sriparna Patak. And she's good. She understands China because she's done her doctorate in China and she stayed there. So we'll hear her then. But I thought I'll give out a different story today. Right? Okay. Thanks a lot. If you like this video, press the like button. Also join Gana Short as a member. And if nothing, join us as a subscriber. And I'll take some questions. Thanks a lot. Okay, Michael Divine, top of the morning, General. Wonderful listening to you. I seriously wonder what is the R&AW doing. There is too much cluelessness going on. I quite agree. I don't think any one of us even saw this coming. And we have to take this seriously. Otherwise, we'll have a problem. Right? We have a problem. Will the US realize its error of judgment? Has this SEO meeting brought China onto the driver's seat? I think so. That's the attempt. The USA is in no mood to look. The error of judgment has to be realized by whom? It has to be realized by Trump and his cabinet. The Trump administration. I don't think they are in any mood to discuss it. Anyway, right. Thanks a lot, Arun, for joining in as a YouTube member. And also thanks a lot for AA to join in as a member. Earlier I saw a person called Malot. Welcome and join in as a member. So let me go take a few questions from the top. Hans says good morning. Akash, good morning. Rohan, good morning. A lot of visceral reaction from US in response to the USC meeting. Yeah, but the fact is it useful? A visceral reaction from USA doesn't help anyone because they are the architects of this whole story. They've facilitated revival of China. If China gets revived, it is because of USA, which is detrimental to them. Arsenal, morning. China's conduct is mostly about par for the course. In any case, it was clearly understood that this meet will be about showmanship. Hard borders is the new normal. Let's see how it goes, Akash. Hard borders we always had, so there's nothing new about hard borders. Whether it's the I will not call it showmanship. You've seen the Chinese hand coming towards the end of the meet. That's why I spoke. This is the Chinese hand. The Chinese hand is about GGI. Very clear, and revival of its own economy and its own system, stabilizing itself. Good morning, Ramki and AS also namaste. Yeah, Trump is an accelerant for the transition to the multipolar world. I agree. EU is out of the equation because it's not politically aligned, but sometimes in future this will happen. Circumstances will force them to do it. Let's see. We are living in a fractured world. How do we get out of it? I don't see a way out. It'll be about regional spheres being attracting poles of influence. Yep, I agree with you, but let's see how it pans out. Unless US has a change of thinking. See, let's be very clear. It's either the US or the China. One of the two have to take the lead. Right? US has abrogated all that. I don't know where it's going. In the context of Z Modi meet and rekindling of issues, how does Z6 war prophecy play up? I think it's a waste of time. This was all part of a propaganda which they started, putting out around 2010-11 to show that they are the greatest force on earth and all that. But that's gone. I think that they know. That's why these days they don't talk of it. I was watching Professor Glenn on Gilbert Doctorow's show, and he said Trump is not being whimsical. He's following Kissinger's strategy to put a wedge between India and Russia. I think he's a fool, yeah. This is what Kissinger did with USSR and China. But the fact is that he's not put a wedge between India, USSR. He's driven India, USSR, and Russia, China together. By the way, Trump is a Kissinger fan. I don't think so. I don't think anything. Yeah, first he said development, security, civilization, now governance. Is he Pudulfe kicking in? I don't think so. This is a very serious thing. This is the most serious thing which has come out from China. I told you he's operating at 3 different levels. He knows India is the problem there. So he's tackling you politically in a different level. He's not talking to you about governance and all that. He's talking to you with normalization of relations somewhere. Because he wants India to be neutral. He knows India won't be on his side, even if it is against USA. The rest of this Shanghai Cooperation Organization will be the foundation for his GGI. And he'll keep USA imbalanced and out of it. There's a plan. Yeah, GGI is Global Governance Initiative. Ladybird Haru, thanks a lot. Good morning. It's not really Trump that is ordering and cabinet blindly following. Whole admin seems to be following the Project 2025 plan published by Heritage Foundation, which is a conservative think tank. Whatever that is, it's useless. The results are going against. The results are going against us, isn't it? I mean, not against us. It's going against them. This is like, let me be very honest and upfront about it. Demonetization. In India, demonetization was carried out based on some third-rate thinking. It caused so much misery to anyone. Did it achieve anything? People will say, oh, it achieved, oh, yeah, all that. No. It caused misery to people. It took 5-6 years for that whole story to settle in. It was based on an economic theory which was not tested anywhere in the world. Same thing is happening at all these projects. Yeah, mission creep, slow march to hegemony. I agree with you. What is the Chinese obsession with world dominance? Yeah, that's a good question. This is the only question which is, the rest is all, what you asked is irrelevant. The Chinese have to continue to do any something or the other and keep proving themselves to the people to be in power. In any other country, in a democratic country, if a government is not good, you'll throw them out in the next elections. But not there. They have to prove themselves that they are the best and giving best for the people, which they are not able to at this point of time. So if they're not able to, they have to do world domination, this, that, we are the greatest in the world, we are this, that. Otherwise, that basic contract will fail. We'll give you, you give us a liberty, we'll give you prosperity. Today, that prosperity is being given through, we are the greatest in the world, you're the most secure people, and all that. Okay, already Xi Jinping has said, instead of prosperity, I'll give you security. Now we'll give you greatness. But that's how it is going. That's the communist thinking. Thanks a lot, Sivaprakasam. Right? Are there any politicians, are the most politicians in Asian and even African European countries so compromised that they inevitably bend to China's demands or tantrums? Forget Taiwan. Yeah, there are a lot of countries who have to bend. Otherwise, chaos will be created. Like it's happening in Indonesia. Indonesia is a case in point. I'll talk of Indonesia when we get the time and analyze it. But what is happening in Indonesia? China has a hand in it. Yeah. Amit Mahipal Gupta, good morning. Thanks a lot for joining in. Pradeep. Oh, yeah. You explain complicated Chinese policies in a fluid layman's language. That's the whole idea. Actually, I have not got it fully right today. Or rather, I have not got the full thing because the full picture is I'm not a grasped. It'll come out, but this is my thinking. Let's see where we go. Yeah, Pradeep, the virtual Topi Wala hasn't come out, still hasn't come out of 1961. Reading it is people like P. Shankar who in their entire country, entire active lives couldn't achieve anything. Jealous of the child. I think you're quite off. I don't know what you're trying. You're being political. India trying to get out of the fertilities with Russia, Saudi and Russian deals, signed some initiatives and has taken by government. Okay, we'll see what that is. Okay, like it or not, China seems to have a plan here. What India's long-term aspirations plans? See, that's the thing. So far, India is talking of Pakistan that win by because of that thing about Pahalgam in that declaration. A win because we stopped Azerbaijan becoming a member. A great thing because Modi and Putin had a great talk for 45 minutes. All that is good. But this plan, I have not seen any comment from any Indian so far. Let's see where we go. So we discussed so many times that Chinese influence is declining from this position. Still, China can pull off all these global dreams. Your view. The problem is USA is aiding them. See, forget about India. India will handle it. But what about smaller countries? They can't depend on USA anymore. If they can't depend on USA, they'll turn to China. And China will trap them, especially those countries which are already in their debt trap and where BRI has gone in. What's next for India? I'm sure it'll come out. We'll come out with it in a week or two. It's not going to be in a hurry. Who will lead the parade, Zhang Yuxia or Zaichi? We'll see tomorrow. What's the hurry? Ritanta. America is more than Trump, and Trump doesn't represent the entirety of America. Meanwhile, let's focus on finding like minded allies in the US. Ritanta, I agree with you. I agree with you completely. That's what we should do. We should find an alternate power of alternate set of people who think differently, and we should keep up with them. See, for us, there's no choice. Then it's not a choice of USA or China. It can't be China at all, right? Let's be very clear. Russia, yes, we need USA. Whether you like it or not, you need USA. Unfortunately, with Trump, you can't handle USA. Okay, so we need to find alternate centers in USA and wait for your time and continue to grow, gain your strength internally. Indian Army was part of the winning coalition in both worlds. Yeah, we're not doing anything about it. They're doing everything about it. That's the thing. Yeah, only India is standing in way of China. To a large extent, yes. And they're neutralizing us. Let's be very clear. They're very clearly there's a plan to neutralize us. Pradeep Joshi, he's a communist. Just leave it. Don't worry. There's no point in talking to communists. Okay. Yeah, business war has begun. I agree with you. Yeah, by going to Japan and staying out of the military parade, India has left the door open for the US to step up. I think it's a positive sign for US India. I agree with you. But unfortunately, the signals coming out of USA are still contradictory. You saw what Marco Rubio gave out, and you saw what Donald Trump gave out. Let's see. I mean, one has to be patient in all this, so let's see. Indo US, yeah, I'll talk about the Indo US a little while later. Let's see how this goes. Maybe by the end of the week, we can start talking of Indo US. I was eagerly waiting for your analysis. Thanks for this. Thank you. I'm telling you today, I'm telling you now very openly, I'm not happy with my own analysis today because it's in a bit of a hurry. I'm not given thought to it. More of a first reaction kind of analysis. But let's see how it pans out. Do you think BJP will have secret deal with CCP like Congress and trade India's sovereignty? I don't think so. I don't expect it to happen, to be very honest. But the fact is that CCP has reached out to BJP also. That's a fact. Now the CCP has reached out to a prime minister also. So how this combination will deal with the CCP is to be seen. We'll see as we go along. Yeah, Chinese call for global governance means दुनिया के मजदूरों को एक हो in the command of China. I agree with you. Chinese media is reporting that India blocked Azerbaijan's bid to become a full member of the SCO. How will this affect the north-south transport corridor? We are going to, leave Azerbaijan out. That's the whole idea. Go through Afghanistan and go to Turkmenistan. That's how we. Yesterday, General Rajiv Narayanan explained all this. Have a look at yesterday's video. You will get the idea as to how this whole thing is going. He knows the exact route because he was the DA in Tajikistan. Yeah. Ravichandran, good morning. Sir, has India managed to buy peace in the East for the next 48? No, we have not got. Let's be very clear. No. Srikanth Amrutraj, Russian media is reporting that, yeah, we've spoken of this. Yeah, Trump has destroyed for personal gain USA's long-term and short-term interests. Yep, there's no doubt. Uh, Global governance seems to counter UN. Old wine, new bottle. By the way, US Embassy statement was mostly likely. I don't know what it was all about. The the signals are conflicting. That's the thing. Global governance is old wine in new bottle. I agree, but it's there. It's come out. You're going to deal with it, and they're making use of the opportunity. It's time for India to form its own alliance. Maybe we start something like the non-aligned thing movement. Maybe in the past, British used to have influence on global arena. It's gone completely zero. Somehow Trump believes this is part of his game plan. Either I don't know what is he thinking. Uncle Sam becomes a shame for US. Yes. Yeah, it's bunny. Looks like our government have a plan for both China and USA. I don't think so. I don't think our government is thinking this because this came out late, yesterday, and I don't see a reaction from the government. Nor do I also see any uh, thinking in the public so far. It'll come. It'll. Thanks a lot. R&D ने कुछ miss किया क्या? I think they have missed quite a bit at this point of time. Hmm. Okay. Oh, Mrs. Claire, Jai Hind and good morning. Bidan says, Trump by profession is merely a trumpeter. Yeah. Any positives that you can highlight from Modi Z's latest discussion? Very eager to hear. We'll talk of this in the evening, Prakriti. Yesterday also we spoke. We'll speak of it in the evening. A lot of time for that. How can you say that Indian Prime Minister should not have attended SCO? I have not said that. I have not said that at all. Where are you getting this from? Yeah. He should have gone. He has gone. That's okay. Yeah. Good morning, General Sir. Yeah. Good morning. Oh, Bidan, I think you got your head screwed wrong. All this is. Don't talk like this. Don't be chicken hearted. Don't talk like a fool. Okay. If you want to be a fool in this platform, be a good fool. Don't be a stupid fool like you have been. Just get lost otherwise. Okay, fine. That's how things are stacked of this global governance initiative. Uh, how to respond to this, how this will roll out, how this will play out is all in the future. Okay. We have to play a fluid game, India. You have to play both sides of the court. It's not as if our offenses with USA are uprooted. But equally, there are a set of forces in USA will come up. It's a matter of time. Who will want to reinstate these fences? There is some scope with China, but I don't think you'll get much. Overall, and it's going to be very incremental in nature. And the centrality of India-China relationship remains the border on which nothing much has moved. So we'll see how it goes. But in the meanwhile, how do you handle this global governance issue is something which we'll have to wait. Too early to say anything very great positive about this whole story. Okay. And we'll see just the outcomes of Tianjin today in the evening at 8 o'clock. Join in then. Till then, have a great day and Jai Hind to all of you.